Hi everyone, Luke Fink here. Today we'll talk about why 500 milligrams of testosterone is not equal of 500 milligrams of nandrolone, trembolone, primobolan, or any other anabolic steroid. Quick disclaimer, this is not medical advice, this is entertainment only. So we know that anabolic steroids bind to the androgen receptor. So the more steroids we use, the more androgen receptor binding there is, and the more anabolic effects there are. But why switch up compounds then if the androgen receptor is basically the activation of muscle hypertrophy? Now, here comes the secret. The androgen receptor is just one player in the effects of each anabolic steroids. I will draw that on a whiteboard real quick so you can understand. So here we have our cell, we have our steroid here, it's a testosterone, and inside of the cell, in the cytoplasm, we have an androgen receptor, and the testosterone binds to that androgen receptor, and now we go inside the nucleus of the cell where the genetic information is located, the DNA, and now this androgen receptor with the steroid travels inside of the nucleus. However, when the androgen receptor binds with the steroid, it slightly changes its shape. Let's say it becomes something like this with testosterone. And let's say when we have nandrolone, nandrolone binds the receptor and it could change shape into something like this. And these different shapes of the androgen receptor complex will now activate our key players of this video called co-activators. Co-activators are proteins found in the nucleus of the cell, and depending on the shape configuration of the androgen receptor, they will be activated or not. Okay, so this testosterone shape of the androgen receptor might activate these co-activators, while the nandrolone co-activators will maybe populate this side of the androgen receptor. So the shape that the androgen receptor took after binding to the steroid will determine which co-activators will come bind to the complex inside the nucleus. And these co-activators are actually crucial when we are looking at what happens to the genetic transcription. Okay, so these co-activators are basically doing the work. So the androgen receptor complex, think about it as the CEO, and the co-activators are the workers who do the work. So this is very important, and they basically tell which genes are amplified and which are not amplified. And we have several types of co-activators. We have the most famous one, steroid receptor complex 1, steroid receptor complex 2, steroid receptor complex 3, P300. So those, especially these two and this one, are very important for muscle hypertrophy. These co-activators are basically the ones that tell to amplify muscle hypertrophy. Satellite cell is basically what triggers hypertrophy. These are also the activators for nutrition, for amino acid utilization. So you can see that these are very much related to muscle hypertrophy. And each anabolic steroid has a different profile of activation of those. Let's say trembolone, one of the most powerful steroids, has a very powerful activation of all of those. When you look at weaker steroids such as primobolan or anavar, maybe the activation of those co-activators might not be as pronounced, or some might not be activated. Okay, so this is the main reason why anabolic steroids lead to different results depending on the compound. Androgen receptor binding is just one step. The next important step is the configuration change of the androgen receptor and which co-activators will be recruited to basically determine which genes will be amplified and which not. All right, so this is basically the key of why different steroids lead to different results. I hope you enjoyed the video, and please let me know what you think down below.